topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Hello and welcome to It's Your Voice, the show that hosts enriching conversations in diversity. My name is Bahia Yaksan. I am a core alignment coach and a trainer for organizations and individuals who are interested in learning to identify patterns of behavior or habits that are not serving them well and how to essentially root them out and develop new ones so that we can change our attitude, our behavior, how we feel about things, and live more in alignment with how we really want to live with our values. And it usually makes everything better for everyone around us, not just ourselves. If you're interested in looking at some samples of how I train and coach people, you can go to my website, which is knowwhatyouwantcoaching.wordpress.com. Thank you for being here. I have a wonderful new guest today. Her stage name is Amila. Her given name is Shanthi Siddeeq. And the title of the show, which she provided, is To Be Heard, Beginning My Music Journey. Amila is a singer and a songwriter, just beginning her music journey, as the title says. And she's doing this while simultaneously attending the University of California, Davis, studying design. And I asked her what else she wants to talk about. Well, later on in the show, we'll get to hear her song, her recorded song. But before we play that, she is brought up some interesting topics to talk about perfectionism, self-doubt, acceptance, and self-expression. And I feel like this is, universal challenges people have, and also very personal. So, Amila, please come on out. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
It's great we were recently introduced to each other, and I'm grateful for that. And I just also want to shout you out as you volunteered at a fundraiser we had for this show on Sunday, which was incredibly fun. It's Your Voice podcast trivia fundraiser game, and Shanthi was right there helping through the whole thing.
Yes, I had a lot of fun.
So I love the topics. Do you want to talk about perfectionism to start with? And is it in the context of like being an artist and feeling that pressure when you're creating songs?
Yes. So, oh my gosh, I feel like my entire life I've been a perfectionist. Like ever since being a little girl, and even like at school, I would always be like, the straight A student. I have to get those 100%. And I feel like even in like art, like I was always like trying to improve, trying to do better. And I feel like that definitely carried into my older years. And I took on hobbies like baking, writing, and stuff like that. And then I became very like focused on the details, trying to do everything to the best of my ability. And in terms of like music, when I was I started music when I was in 7th grade. So I was in orchestra, and like I immediately loved it. I played the viola, and I would practice whenever I had the time because I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted to sound professional. I wanted to sound like the best I could be. And so I would practice whenever I had the time. And I was also um, when I got into high school, I was section leader of the violas. And so that meant there's a little more pressure. And I was like, okay, I have to be perfect. I have to get down every note and I have to play the rhythm correctly, be a correct intonation and everything. And yeah, it was a huge pressure I feel like I put on myself.
Well, how did you deal with it, and how do you deal with it now? Like, did you develop like strategies, or try to push it away, or?
I feel like I kind of at first I felt like overwhelmed by it. I was like, I have to be perfect, and I feel like almost in a way that was like I equated it to like my worth. And I feel like as I got older, like I realized, okay, this is not working for me because when I messed up or something didn't go right, then I just felt like a failure. I felt really bad. And so I was like, you know what, I have to find a balance because I always love like the part of me that strives to be better. Or I guess perfect, but now I'm like, okay, we don't have to be perfect, but we should try to be better because at the end of the day, perfect is impossible. So
Yes.
you're setting unrealistic standards for yourself that you're never going to meet and you're just going to get disappointed. So yeah, I feel like I definitely, in some cases, I realized that, okay, I have to take a step back and like, for example, when I was working on the song, there was a lot of small details that I didn't completely understand. And I'm the type of person who like, I want to do everything by myself. Like, so like a lot of the engineering and mixing stuff, I didn't completely understand. And then I was like, you know what? Let me ask for help. I know there's people who could do this a little better than me because I just don't have experience in this field. So I had to take a step back. And yeah, that's one of the ways I cope with this perfectionism, and also just like self-love and validation, like meeting myself where I'm at. Like, okay, I didn't get this far. That's okay. What did I learn for it? What did I learn from it? And how can I do better next time?
Nice. Wow, that's great. Just replacing being perfect with just being better, and telling yourself that, and noticing the pressure you're putting onto yourself, and just that kind of self guidance and asking for help. Yay!
Yes,
Two or
that's a
three,
big one.
yeah, 2 or 3 strategies you mentioned, and again, I want to go to the self doubt. Do you want to add anything regarding self doubt?
Yes. So I feel like I've always been a very shy person, and I feel like growing up I definitely struggled with like self-esteem. I was kind of like the person who wanted to invisible hide in the back of the classroom. um I didn't Well, it was kind of complex. I always had this like inside feeling like I want to put myself out there, but I wanted attention, but at the same time, I was afraid of it. So I was like, I want to, put myself out there, but that's also very scary. So I tended to stay inside my comfort zone. And I also, um, like you said, I struggled with a lot of self doubt. That was a huge thing I struggled with because I feel like I looked at other people and I saw what they did, I was like, oh wow, this is so great. And then I constantly compared myself to what they accomplished without, seeing their full process. And
Right.
that made me like doubt myself, like, oh, I'm not this person, I can't do this, stuff like that. And that's something I had to really change my mindset about when I was growing up and building confidence. And I feel like affirmations helped a lot, like telling myself, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I am talented. I'm confident. I'm strong. I got this. And, one day you probably don't feel anything. But then, like, if you keep telling yourself that over and over again, like, eventually, like, you're going to believe it. And it really does help, I feel like. And that's something that definitely helped me with my self-doubt.
Wow. And another, there was another word you added, acceptance and self-expression. And I don't know if you want to talk about acceptance and self-expression in that order, because they each deserve their own minute, moment.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of time, but.
Yeah, acceptance was like a hard one. I feel like, especially like in regards to like not just my physical, like accepting who I am on the outside, but also like the inside and like the work that I do. I feel like, especially going through my teenage years, we all had insecurities, and that was one type of acceptance that I had to deal with. And then the other was like accepting, like my lack of confidence, my accepting my struggles, and accepting the times when I wasn't perfect. And I guess that was one thing that helped with that was journaling, which kind of similar to the affirmations. It was definitely a way for me to build confidence and also like make sense of the thoughts going on in my mind, and just putting myself in a judge-free zone, like just getting my thoughts out without being too harsh on myself, and accepting that I wasn't perfect, that I'm human, and that's okay. And like in regards to my song, that was I feel like a huge step in actually like putting it out there, because I'm glad, because I got a lot of positive feedback, but like when I was setting it out, there's a lot of minor things. I was like, I don't really like that. This is a little too much. Oh no, what will people think? I didn't feel like I didn't have the same energy that the people who listened to it had, because of course we're always so harsh on ourselves. But that was like kind of me. I had to accept that. And I was like, you know what? This is never going to be perfect, but I know that I put my best into it. So I'm going to accept it as it is and keep moving forward.
Yay. I love that. The term you use, judge-free zone, like everybody needs to like build the judge-free zone in our minds, hearts, wherever we store our judgment of ourselves and others. Like just expand that judge-free zone, because everything's better. We're just happier. Life is easier when that's not on. Wow.
Yeah.
Good job. Make sure to describe it. Go ahead.
And then going on to like the self-expression part. I feel like I've definitely, like I said before, like ever since I was young, I was an artist, and I started out with, painting, drawing, stuff like that. I liked arts and crafts too. And then I also really loved poetry when I was younger, I had a little notebook that my aunt gave me for one of my birthdays, and I would just write poems, and I loved that. And then like later, when I grew my love for music, I kind of combined, poetry, music, and you get songwriting.
Yeah.
And that, yes, I was like, this is me. Like I feel like singing and songwriting, that has become like my biggest hobby and biggest creative outlet. And I feel like through it just helped me express myself and get my words out. There's a quote, I'm trying to remember, but it was like, when words fail, music speaks. So I feel like that kind of matched what songwriting helped me feel, especially like because I was a very shy person. I feel like songwriting and music, those creative outlets helped me express myself and helped me build self-love too. And I'm really happy that I was able to, use those creative means to put myself out there and build confidence, self-love, and acceptance. I also like to say, like, I feel like singing and songwriting is kind of like a way of healing my inner child, because I was always quiet, yet I wanted to do more. I also always loved to sing, even though when I was younger, it wasn't very serious. It was just kind of here and there, and I didn't do it super often, but I still enjoyed it. But I remember like being in middle school, I was in orchestra, but I also wanted to do choir, but I was like, oh, I can't do this. This is too scary. But now I feel like I'm kind of making those younger dreams of me, like wanting to sing, wanting to write songs come true. So that's how I feel like I'm healing my inner child.
Nice. Art is so healing. It's such a form of healing and creative expression. And how great that you worked your way through all these processes to get to this point where you built love, built inner love and confidence. Fantastic. Yeah. And this is a good time to ask Rebel, our engineer, to play the song that you've recorded, and then on the other end we can talk about that more. Like, maybe I love finding out, like, what does that mean to you? And then I want to talk about your study of design. Okay, here we go.
Love isn't easy. Here I am, not alone, without a shoulder to lean to, or something to hold. Could I live a fairy tale enchanted night and day? Are you enough of me? What do you say? Is all in all of you, stick by your side as we grow. And in all that I ask of you is help me make this dream come true. A life united we could spend with us until the end. I know that you love me, I know that you care. I hope that forever you will always be there. Through whatever hurdles life goes in the way, darling, won't you promise me that you'll stay? Whatever troubles befall you, I'll be there by your side. With the wind blows out your candle, Don't worry, I'll be alive. And if the darkness blinds you, the truth, if you fall, I'll be there to remind you that you're so beautiful. When heavy rains come crashing down, earthquakes start to shake the ground, the shatters taste starts to glow. Hold tight and don't let go. It may seem like there's no way through. I'll find my way to you, darling, you. I know that you love me, I know that you care. I hope that wherever you will always be there. Through whatever hurdles life throws in our way, darling, won't you promise me that you'll stay? I know that you love me, I know that you'll care. I pray that forever you will always be there. Through whatever hurdles throws in our way, darling, won't you promise me that you'll
Wow. What a beautiful voice you have.
Thank you.
Wow, it's a very nice quality of your voice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That must be so satisfying to do that. And wow,
Yeah.
okay. So like your voice is really strikingly beautiful, and I'm curious about the photo for the title "Always Be There" of the song. It's just like adorable and also aesthetically very beautiful picture, but also pensive expression. So, what was behind your idea of picking that picture to go with that song?
Yeah, so I feel like the song is definitely like deep in your feelings. And so I wanted something like kind of serious and kind of a little sad, but not like super sad. And the setting for the photo is actually like it's right outside of my house. There's this nice trail. And then I was like, you know what, I want to wear like a long dress too, something fancy, but not like super, still like matching, I also like I have the umbrella too to kind of like go with the sentiment of the song and the kind of almost sad, longing feeling of the song. And that's what inspired me to do the photo, how I did it.
Wow. Well, tell us about this song. Like, what does that mean to you, and what do the lyrics signify for you? Or tell us about your story or the story that you're painting through the song.
Yes. So it was definitely a roller coaster. I started writing the song. It was 2024, fall of 2024. And it was a love song at that time. I feel like my life was pretty good. I was in a happy, loving relationship. I was doing well in school. it was like just the beginning of my college freshman year. So I was kind of like getting used to everything, trying out clubs here and there. I was, before the stress and everything hit.
Yeah.
But then, so that song, it took me a year to actually, well, a little more than a year to actually release. It was released last December, so December of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And so it definitely shifted from what it originally was. So it's still a love song, but it's talking about a future, a future partner. Because I feel like it kind of matches, what I was going through at the time, because I was going through a breakup. I was struggling with self-love. I was struggling, with external stuff, college, on top of like, how am I going to finish this song? But I knew that I was committed from the start. I was like, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done. And that was like, even though I was busy with everything else, that was kind of like what I was doing for myself. And that's why it was so important for me to actually stick to it and carry through. And I was hesitant with like the specific song, because like I said, it was a love song, and I was going through a breakup. And so it was kind of like, I was like, do I want to carry this through? But then I was like, you know what, I want to stay true, to what I was going through, and just be vulnerable too, because I feel like that's important for people to see or listen to. And so I went through with it. I did, change the lyrics a little bit, but it definitely reflected like the feelings, what I was feeling inside. And now it became a song about, talking about this future love and like commitment to, this future partner. And I feel like in a similar way, it's kind of connects to like my own future, and not just like, in terms of love, but also like in terms of my singing journey and my music journey. Because I was kind of going through a hard time, a low point, but then I was like, you know what, I'm still gonna make it to the end. I'm still gonna keep going. I'm still gonna stay committed and carry through.
Wow. That is so awesome that you didn't abandon the project, right? Yes. It's a beautiful example of like that you found in yourself the message. I'm going to be true to myself, and kind of realize this is actually for me. This is not for another person. Because I'm an artist, because I'm feeling these feelings. I know they're universal, and being vulnerable is so much a part of being a true artist. Be willing to be vulnerable and to expose vulnerability, which I think is why people love art so much. It's like, oh my gosh, someone painted that for me or sang that for me. I think that's what really makes art so relatable. And just commend you for and admire your follow through. That's fantastic.
Yes, I feel like what you said, definitely, like art is just a great way to like, I feel like we need that vulnerability, because it can help so many people. I know, like for myself, when I was like writing the song and like doing the backing track and everything, I definitely at times when I felt demotivated or like a lot of self-doubt, struggling with perfectionism, I turned to music to help other people's music, to help inspire me. I going back to like the beginning of like this songwriting journey, I had a friend from the UC Davis Music Production Club. And that's kind of what I feel like that also like played a huge role in like inspiring me, because he showed me like a song that he released on Spotify. It was his very first song, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I want to do this. And so sometimes when I was like feeling like when I needed inspiration, I would listen to his song. I would listen to like other favorite artists, and that definitely helped me get through it and helped me reach my goal.
That's so important. Yeah, we it's really hard to be inspiring if we're not also inspired. So we all need our forms of inspiration, or our people who do that for us and remind us why we matter, why it matters, why art matters, why getting your voice out there matters, and putting meaning to it and sharing it. So did you play the instrumental piece at the end? Did you make that as well?
I use what is called a DAW, which stands for Digital Audio Workstation. So it's basically digital instruments. So
Okay.
I didn't actually play the instruments, but I typed them into like the DAW, and so I made the backing track and through the computer.
Wow. Yeah, I've never tried that, but I've heard of it. I have songs I love singing, so I really appreciate how satisfying that can be. And I just wanted to acknowledge the listeners. Sorry about the background noise. We tried to fix that, but it's unavoidable in case people are.
Yes.
We hear it too. We can't eliminate it. Sorry, very sorry about that.
Yes, I was hoping. I was like, okay, it's quiet, and then as soon as it
happens. It happens sometimes.
Yes.
So, how does this like? I'm curious about like you're studying design, like you know, and to me that's like art and math and art. That's I don't know. Tell us about like what kind of design, what kind of things you want to design. Yeah, and how that's going.
Okay, so I actually was originally a math major, but I ended up switching to design, not because I hate math. I just don't see myself doing like 100% math 100% of the time. Yeah. So I'm like, I mean, this whole show was about like creative self-expression. So I'm definitely more of a creative person, and that's why I ended up with design. The field I'm specifically interested in is UI UX, which stands for user interface, user experience. And so that's like designing apps and designing websites. I don't have like a ton of experience in like working with technology to do art, but I'm very open to learning it, and I've loved art, so I'm just trying to learn it in a different way. And I also because like as a design major, there's like certain prereqs that we have to take, and like one of the classes I'm taking right now is graphic design, and I'm really enjoying it so far. We learned Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. I'm working on a project in Illustrator right now, and I fell in love with them because they're so fun to use, and I'm excited to use it in the future, even like for my future song covers, photo covers. I feel like it would come in handy then. So yeah, I'm really excited to let the art flow.
Yeah, it's awesome to have like different avenues for art to flow through you. Whether instrument and voice and design and baking and writing.
And writing.
Yeah, yeah, you're not alone. There are, you know, a lot of artists have different mediums and like to have different outlets. And it's really fun and amazing to express yourself in different ways. Who are some of your some artists who inspire you, whether it's a visual or a singer-songwriter? Who else besides the friend whose song you listen to keep you going? Do you have any kind of special kind of singing idols or mentors or
I feel like Mariah Carey has definitely like been a huge inspiration. I don't know if you know like what riffs and runs are, but she does a lot of that in her music, and that's something I really love like about what she does. And I love all of her songs. And also, let me think of some more, like Alicia Keys,
yeah.
Lana Del Rey, like her song. I don't know if you've heard "Young and Beautiful," but that was a huge like inspiration for "Always Be There." And yeah, those are some of the artists that I really look up to.
Yeah, I probably have listened to Alicia Keys most out of those three that you mentioned. So talented. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. And I know you designed the certificates for the fundraiser, and they were so pretty. You know, they could have been like, okay, here you go, but I feel like you put a lot of heart into the design for in a very short period of time.
Yes, I it's nice, you know, like even if it's just a small project, like taking on projects here and there, it's just always fun, and it's like a nice break from, you know, everything else.
And you're a sophomore, right, at UC Davis? You're in your sophomore.
Yes.
Yeah. And what else? I know you talked about interface, like websites, and what other things do you think you feel like you can apply design for in the future or towards?
I feel like almost like anything, like in one of my intro design classes, we were just talking about how like I forgot what it was, but something like a bug me list where like, oh, maybe you're using an item, you're like, I don't like how this works, or like maybe the door is just not opening right, or something that bugs you, and just write it down, and then like take time to think about, okay, how can I make this better? How can I design this in a better way to be more efficient and be more helpful and get the job done? And so like I was also like interested in product design because I feel like that could be definitely useful. And then there's so many fields in design. There's graphic design, interior design, fashion design. I feel like that's kind of like an everyday thing for me. I'm like, okay, what am I going to wear today?
Wow.
But yeah, it's just, there's so much that you can do with it. And
That's true.
I'm excited.
Well, it sounds very exciting. And also we're going to need human beings to keep designing things.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So, wow, you're right. There's so many different ways it could be applied. I love the bug me list idea.
Yes.
Are you working on any other songs?
I am.
Yeah, tell us something about what's in the works.
So, my next song, it's called Heal the Heart. And I feel like this song is like speaking to myself. And it kind of has one thing that kind of inspired me when I was writing like the song that I'm hoping to release if not by the end of March, beginning of April.
Soon.
One thing that kind of like played a huge role was like, you know, my previous song, Always Be There, and like releasing it and then getting all this positive feedback. But then at the same time, I know like sometimes I was hard on myself, and I was like, even though I got a lot of feedback, there's still like, oh, you could have done this better. You could have did this, blah, blah. Me being hard on myself. And I was like, I need to just take a minute to appreciate the work that I did and, you know, celebrate what I accomplished. And I feel like I definitely I was very proud of myself, but at the same time, there was like these conflicting emotions. Like, I'm very proud of myself. Oh, I could have done better. And so I feel like my upcoming song is kind of like speaking about, you know, healing and like being kinder to ourselves and just the journey, you know, of loving ourselves, being kind to ourselves, and not being so hard on ourselves.
Wow, that's so important. That's so needed. And I know that feeling of like I write, and I know that there seems like, okay, I gotta revise that. Okay, let me do another version. Okay, I can make it better and better and better. It's like a certain point, like, hey, just like share it.
Yes.
It could be endless. It could be endless. So it's like almost like you have to pick a point in time to just like accept and share and celebrate. I love that you said all of that.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely like I like what you said about like picking a point to like accept and share it, because if you don't, I feel like you can, like for me, I know like when I was working on my first song, because I was so hard on myself, I actually like I ended up getting really burnt out. And I feel like that's something I don't like care about a lot. Like sometimes, you know, doing the stuff, because I was like, oh my goodness, I love music, I love songwriting, but this is making me burnt out. And I was like, why? And I realized it was because I was setting these unrealistic standards for myself, and I was being really hard on myself. And I just needed to meet myself where I was, accept what I had, knowing I put in my all. And yeah.
That's so great. What helped you, do you think? Is there a tool or something you could recommend to people? Like what helped you be able to be kinder to yourself and to accept yourself?
I feel like kind of reflecting on what other people got out of the music, because I shared it like before actually releasing it. I did share it with some family members, and they're like, oh, this is really good. And they were like inspired by it. And I guess I like kind of taking a moment and like almost like looking at it from a different perspective. Like imagining like, say, I don't know, someone came up to me showing me their song, and like if I was giving like feedback to them, like even if it wasn't perfect, I still like appreciate, you know, what it is for, like how appreciate it for what it is. And I guess like also I feel like I did have to take like a break from songwriting for a little bit, because I was, my goal, I wanted to get it out September, but I ended up pushing it to December, because I was like, you know what, I need to pause and like take a break from this, because sometimes we just gotta take a break, because sometimes we're working at it for hours, and we need to take a break and let our minds calm down. And I feel like that was definitely helpful.
That's so cool. What you said earlier about oh my gosh, I'm burned out. Like, why am I burned out? Like, oh, because I'm being so hard on myself. Like, wow, I
Yes.
can actually not be so hard on myself. And taking a break is such a smart choice sometimes. Like, like if I'm going to be hard on myself, I'm just stopping right now. I'm stopping until I come back refreshed and kinder to myself and appreciating myself and celebrating what's done. And then going back with a different perspective. That's so helpful. Just like stepping away. It really does help you reset. And gosh, the world needs so much more kindness. And it really helps. Being kind to ourselves is, I think, a really key part of that. When we're kind, not in a self-centered way, but being able to nourish ourselves enables us to be part of the kindness that the world desperately needs. So we have just like 4.5 more minutes. So this is a good time to think about 4 more minutes, like sort of your closing message, closing thought. It can include like when or how we'll know that your next song is coming out, how to find your current song. You can say those things too.
Yeah. So I guess before I that, I just want to say, like, if you're working towards something, or if you have a goal or a dream, I feel like a big thing is take it step by step. Don't jump into it all at once. And like I said, sometimes you have to take breaks, but as long as you return, you go back to it and you're like, okay, this didn't work. Now I'm going to learn, and now I'm going to keep going forward, and I'm going to be kinder to myself. And I feel like that's just how you can reach the finish line. And
Nice.
So for my next song, it's called Heal the Heart. At least that's the title. I plan on releasing it. And I'm thinking March or April, or end of March, beginning of April. And you can listen to it on Spotify, YouTube. There's some other platforms I don't exactly remember. I think Apple Music, but my stage name is Amila, which is just Amilah. So if you're interested in listening to more of my music, that's how you can find me.
Okay, we'll look for Amila, Amila. And the first song that we listened to today is called Always Be There. And the next upcoming song is Heal the Heart. Is that right?
Yes. Oh, wait, I think did I include the H at the end? Amilah. I think I might have forgotten. But yes, Amila with an H.
Okay.
But yes, Heal the Heart. That's the next song.
Okay. Beautiful. Well, thank you for being on the show today and letting us hear your song and sharing your process, because it's a process to create and to be able to sustain yourself. It's, and it's just so nice to have someone to share like the vulnerability and the stages and just pushing through all of that we're willing to talk about, the self-doubt and moving into acceptance. And because it's really hard to express yourself if you don't, what did you say? No judgment zone.
Yes.
Zone, because if you're
constantly judging,
it stops the expression. So you get into the no judge zone, and then just let it rip, figure it out, play with it, change it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, on that note, let me thank you again, Shanthi Siddeeq, aka Amila, your stage name. And I want to thank you. I also want to thank our engineer Rebel and our producer Dean K. Piper, and all of our listeners and viewers. And be sure to tune in next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to Talk 4 TV. It's your voice, and w4cy.com. And may we all have enriching conversations this week. Thanks again.
Thank you.